The Whiskey Brothers podcast is intended for an adult listening audience. If you find yourself easily offended, I guarantee this will do it.
They don't want no problem. Nah.
From Houston, Texas, the Whiskey Brothers podcast starts now.
Welcome, everyone, to the 618th episode of the Whiskey Brothers podcast. In the room, all three of your core Whiskey Brothers.
I'm still here, guys.
Slade Ham, Sam Damaris, Rob Mungel.
Yeah.
We are joined by, and we have a lot to talk about. We are joined by Billy D. Washington.
Oh, yeah.
And Andy Huggins, who you may recently have seen on America's Got Talent. Congratulations, Andy.
Thank you very much.
On a
Thank you very much.
spectacular showing.
Yes.
I think it's very cool. You went on, you kicked ass. The hearts and minds.
Mel B. Yeah.
Yes, confused Mel B.
loved you.
Howie gave you a little bit of love. Remembered you from 40 years ago.
40 years.
Back in Los Angeles, and then you did something that I thought was one of the most incredible things I've ever seen. Your YouTube video went somewhat viral. They played the clip. In the comments, for the first time in the history of the internet, to my knowledge, and I've done some field research, did not devolve into racist political commentary. It usually takes 4 comments.
Whoa, when was the last time you checked?
Oh, okay.
I had to. I had to.
Okay.
It's a new thing. It's the Andy Huggins rule.
Is that what that
It's
is?
the brand new Andy Huggins rule.
I'll take that.
You can evoke that on any thread, anywhere, and it has to stop.
Hashtag Andy Huggins rule, and then
I don't.
no more hate.
I don't like to get emotionally involved in the shit on the internet, but sometimes things do get to me. Like I saw the clip. All the views, all the comments, tearing Mel B apart were great. But then there was like 180 people who hit the thumbs down button on you, and I was like, I'm sitting there clicking it, trying to see if I can get their handle. I was about to just drunkenly just go cuss them all the fuck out.
I guarantee they were all open micers in retirement homes.
Boy, but if I could have seen
I'll tell
their
you what,
handles,
that kid can't follow me.
Well, I certainly.
I'm doing the lunch show at Martha Maria's, and he couldn't follow me.
Right? Have you guys done the Late Show Friday at Shady Grove? That is rough.
Oh, man. Yeah.
By
It was like they were all asleep. It was 6
by late, you
p.m.
mean 4:30.
So I don't want to dwell on it. Andy, continued
Congratulations, man.
success.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you.
Super happy for you.
Always good when something good happens to our family. And sometimes we're here for a totally different reason. And that's, I know, up to now. I will grab a shot glass and raise it to our dear friend and Houston comic that recently lost, Sean motherfucking Rouse.
Sean Rouse died?
Yeah, I know. You get on your Facebook, Rob.
Oh, I have to. Yeah, he was a great guy.
And a friend of a friend. I probably had the worst relationship with Sean anybody in this room has had. We fought a lot, and it was usually the same way any other relationship goes. One of us was drunk, and then we argued. So I want to play for the fans who don't know Sean. Go ahead.
I just remember sitting in the tavern parking lot, and he just comes out of the tavern, just drunkenly stumbles up, looks up, sees you, and just goes, "You disrespected me."
Like out of nowhere.
Not a high, not a hate slave.
In fact, I think
word.
you might have saved Sean one night at Sherlock's from me. There was I remember specifically. I thought it was you that got in the way. And I just remember yelling, "I will hit a fucking cripple," and then, and he had it coming. It was whatever. It's Sean was. How would you describe him?
Sean, to me, people have asked me how would you describe his comedy? And I would suggest he was almost, I said he was Bob Newhart. If you took Bob Newhart and made him a drunken, degenerate asshole. But he had that same style that Bob Newhart has.
Okay.
But he took the darkest, meanest elements of society and some of the most vile things and made them hysterical. But the way he presented it was the same way that Newhart was that soft-spoken, and he was never, I've never seen anyone less afraid of silence than Sean Rouse.
Oh God,
he would sit there and pause for 45 seconds before he dumped a punchline.
I want to play a clip and let people sort of fall in line and get, as a listener, so you have an idea of who we're talking about. This, of course, was Sean off of the Unbookables tour. I have a clip I want to play later too from the Bob Rivers show. But this was Sean on the Unbookables tour. Where are we at?
I was in a tsunami. Warning. Not the Japanese tsunami. The tsunami that hit the Pacific Rim. The tsunami that killed child prostitution in Asia. It destroyed child prostitution across Asia. That's one of their biggest money makers, guys. It got quiet because you're thinking, aren't you? You're thinking about those young boys. Can you imagine being a young boy born into prostitution? You spend your entire life having your holes reamed out by German tourists and probably not even being properly compensated. Praying to God every day, all day, please, Lord, save me from this hellish fucking existence. And what does that asshole do? He sends a 30-foot fucking wave to suck your little malnutritioned ass out to sea. Suddenly you're in the middle of the ocean, you're dog paddling, you have no muscles or energy, your asshole has no elasticity, so it's just sucking in salt water. You can't see the shore, you're slowly sinking, and you got a sewing machine chained to your leg. It's no way for a boy whore to die. That's no way for a boy whore to die. He should die like any other boy whore in a bathtub with his internal organs shutting down from AIDS or overdosing after having to shoot smack into his asshole to kill the pain of a busy Chinese New Year. Those are the only two ways a boy whore ever dies in my perfect world.
Oh my God.
Sean Rouse, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah.
He when I would
All
describe
right, I was wrong. He's not anything like Bob Newhart. Fuck what I said. Edit that out.
when people would ask me about it, I said he was the king of misdirection. Every joke looked like it was going one way, and then he would just hook it on you, and you would just, where the fuck did that come from? I think my most, if you're listening to this, Google right now Sean Rouse Premium Blend. He was on Comedy Central's Premium Blend. You know the joke that he had about retarded people getting the death penalty, right?
Yeah.
And he goes, it doesn't matter because they're retarded. They can't go to heaven. And the crowd groans. The crowd groans, and whenever you would groan at Sean, he would do this like taking it back thing, like it was your fault that you got offended.
Right.
Yeah.
And he said, he goes, it's not that they can't go to heaven because they're bad people. They just don't have the mental capacity to understand the higher concept of a God. And the crowd groans again, and he goes, and it's not like they're Native American. You can't beat it into it. And when he says that, if you Google the clip, when he says that, you can hear a woman shriek in the crowd. Just, ah! It is. I watched it the day it aired because I was like, Sean, he's on TV, man. I watched it the day it aired, and I knew the joke, so I obviously wasn't laughing at it. I was just watching him work, and when I heard that shit, because I had the DVR, I backed it up. I was like, did that bitch just shriek?
Shriek.
I must have listened to it like 5 times, and I was like, you should quit comedy.
Yeah.
There's nothing better than that right there.
Right.
I made a woman shrill cry on national TV.
That's sort of the hard part that was always hard for me to wrap my brain around with him. Like, I am a approval seeking motherfucker. When I am on stage,
Of course.
if you are not with me, I am bugged. I am curious. I want to know why, and the last thing I do is lean in to that uncomfortableness.
Right.
I remember when he played Beaumont, the only time he played my room, and it was this is the start of where a lot of our contention came from. But he played, and this is the beauty to Sean. He did 2 shows on a Friday night. The early show, he took a standing ovation. He crushed this room the same way we all knew Sean could crush. And then the Late Show, he starts in and he's doing the Kobe Bryant didn't rape her.
That's I was gonna bring that bit up. It's one of the fucking most amazing things ever.
And do you know the bit when he talks? He goes Kobe, and it's I can't do it. I'm like you. I can't do impressions, but I can't.
He said, everyone wants to know, did Kobe rape that woman? Kobe doesn't know how to rape a woman. He didn't go to college. And then he goes, no. He goes, do you think he did it? In the crowd, some people say yes, some people say no. He goes, you don't know. No one knows. No one knows except Kobe and that girl he raped. And then it goes on.
But he does that.
Better and
he
better.
does that bit. And this is Beaumont, Texas. This is the heart of the Bible. This is you know what the crowds in Beaumont are. So when he does the rape bit and he gets a groan and he just leans in and he goes, "Oh, you people don't like rape jokes. Well, buckle up, bitches." And then he does like 10 more minutes of rape jokes. And he walked in those 10 minutes. Billy, you couldn't count. It was like someone had pulled a fire alarm. And they're gone, except for 3 people who moved up to watch this happen more. That night, and these are the things I hate. These are the stories we talk about. We hate telling these stories about somebody because he has so many fantastic stories. But that was the night that show finished. Him and my girlfriend finished a bottle of Jack, got an 8-ball of Coke, drove to Lake Charles, and I paid him. I hear from Sean the next morning around 7 or 8. And I roll over and I answer the phone and I go, "What?" He goes, "Hey, I think I'm in a casino. Did you pay me last night?" And I went, "Yeah." He goes, "Fuck. I got to be at the airport." I go, "Good luck." And I just hung up the phone. Because you left with my girlfriend.
Well, but the thing with Sean was when I first saw him doing it, I always thought, I sit back and watch and I'd be like, he's doing it wrong. You know, I thought, because I'd never seen somebody just go up with an idea that twisted. Because when I came up, Rob, you know, we came up, set up, middle punch. You know, set up, watch these guys. Okay, they just set up. But he didn't do it like that. So eventually I became a fan and I took him with me to El Paso. To the comic strip.
Bart's place.
Telling Bart, it's like, "Hey, Bart,
this guy's fantastic.
This guy's great, man. You're going to love him." And this is after several years of hanging out with him at Last Stop. And I think we worked together once at Last Stop, once at Comedy Showcase. You know, like Alan Adams to some degree.
Yes.
And so I'm like, man, this dude's brilliant, but it's El Paso. And they're kind of simple people in El Paso. So every night, you know, I'm vouching for this dude. Bart has never seen him before. Yeah. Every night, man, Sean is walking. I'm pacing in the back,
hoping there's gonna be somebody left.
Oh my God! Like, man, please just do something. Get him back, Sean.
And it was maddening because you knew he could. That was the part.
Exactly. You knew he could, and it's like the more they hated him, the more he wanted them. The more he wanted them to hate him.
Yes.
Popeye the spinach, bro.
And he had a couple of great shows, but it was feast or famine. It was either they loved him or they hated him. But then we worked together again in Boise at the Funny Bone, which is a great room. I mean,
smart room.
And no disrespect to the comic strip,
but Boise was a smart room.
Very smart room.
Brian and Pat and
I could barely follow him. Follow him.
Wow.
But one night when we were in El Paso, and Tommy Drake, he sent a story that he wants to tell. But Tommy was passing through town. Have no idea why Tommy was passing through El Paso.
Right.
But
there's not a cruise ship dock near there.
Yeah. They'll find a way.
And that Rio Grande, you get the Carnival Rio.
He came up from Cozumel.
Yeah.
He heard you guys were there. So
yeah, just out of nowhere, Tommy Drake shows up. So I was like, we got a drink. So it's me and Tommy and Sean drinking, and we ended up going to this bar next door. You guys have done the room before.
Yeah.
They had this bar next door that was also this restaurant, but after the restaurant closed, it was still a bar. So we got all the stuff, and when I'm drunk, we've been drunk before.
Yeah.
I'm not very aggressive. But man, Sean got me so hopped up on his stories and on his. And I'm just watching him all week. I was starting to become him.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm gonna be the non-cripple Sean Rouse tonight. So I was hungry. So I was like, hey man, what do you guys think I should go and I think I'm gonna go in the back and cook some shrimp. Have you heard this story before?
No.
I'm gonna go in the back.
Not at all.
I'm gonna go in the back and cook some shrimp. Tommy Drake was like, "No, Billy, you joking around, huh?"
I've done a cooking show with you. You should not be in the kitchen.
Sean was like, do it.
Of course.
Do it.
He was a devil on every shoulder.
Don't be a pussy. So I go in the back and I go to the refrigerator. Nobody's back there but me. I open the refrigerator. I pull out some shrimp. I start turning on the eyes and stuff. And this dude comes. What the hell are you doing back here, bro?
Make a trip.
Police came.
Oh shit!
I'm serious. The police came. I was about to go to jail, but I told them I was working at, and then they called Bart. And if the week wasn't going bad enough already, so you're there with Sean Rouse, who's been not been doing what he does all week, and now you're about to go to jail, or cooking some shrimp, and the bar is closed. So.
Well, you brought up an interesting point a minute ago, and I want to ask you about this, Andy. You said that what Sean did, because again, that setup punch,
punch, yeah.
That formula,
right,
that was a certain era, and then Sean did it. To me, it's always been watching him work is always like, from a writing perspective, the way you can read Save the Cat and you can understand how a screenplay should. Here is the formula for a perfect screenplay.
Right.
And then you watch someone like a Tarantino or a Luc Besson or somebody that just goes,
says, fuck it.
Fuck your rules.
Right.
I know the hero's supposed to show up. We're supposed to do cool stuff. And we're by 10 minutes into the film, you're supposed to know what it's about and the catalyst is supposed to have happened. Whereas something like The Fifth Element, you just realize the hero doesn't even show up for 40 minutes.
Right.
So when you watch, Andy, because you are about as formulaically perfect, like you are math on stage to me sometimes. You miss, you don't, but you don't, but you don't even waste a word. Like there is you are the quickest distance between two laughs. So to watch Sean,
despise silence.
Yes.
Despise silence.
So working with and hanging out with somebody like Sean, does that trip breakers?
No, not all. Here's the great. This is how brilliant Sean was. You know, a lot of comedy. The cliche is true. It comes from pain.
Yes.
But there's maybe a layer between the pain and the joke you come up with.
Yes.
Sean was just so fucking naked
Yeah.
about the
That's very
pain.
true. It's a great way to put it.
And you know, he always ran the risk, even if you weren't like morally offended by him, just that much pain.
It's hard to watch.
I mean, you're cringing maybe. And maybe you're laughing, but Sean suffered from what a lot of people suffer from. Good comics is people don't appreciate the craftsmanship.
Yes,
that went into. He's a very precise writer,
more intentional than it seems.
Yeah,
He was really good.
Yeah, he always hit the notebook that he always carried around wasn't for show like a lot of the open mics, and everybody's got it, including myself. But Sean was always writing.
Yeah.
It's just so painful with his
God, with those hands,
arthritis to write. But he'd do it. But yeah, he was both just out there with it, and you could see the anger, and you knew it was genuine. That's the other thing. There was nothing contrived about anything he said. You know, Sean wasn't up there going, okay, how can I offend these people just for the sake of offending them?
Right. I don't think it started there. I think Once he decided he disliked them, I think he
no, but the joke itself.
It was never. He was never about offending. He was finding the humor in these dark places and using the dark humor to come to some sort of laughter.
Yes.
And you could tell.
And he enjoyed, but that doesn't mean he didn't enjoy offending people. He fucking thrilled. That was a thrill.
And somehow it made the world a better
place. As he got older and the pain got worse, the humor got darker.
Yeah.
I mean, you could chart it. You could chart it.
I would talk to him because I have gout, right? And he's, his is times 90 what I've had, and
from a teenager, right?
Yeah.
Man, man.
And he would say, I'd say, yeah. He goes, yeah, you got gout, don't you? I was like, yeah. He goes, you ever gonna do some jokes about it? And I was like, I don't know, Shawnee. I think you got that cornered. He goes, you're goddamn right. You can't. I got more diseases than you, Mungo. You're gonna look like a faggot if you try to talk about your little faggy gout. I haven't felt my knees in 10 years.
That's the impression.
You fucking piece of shit. Gout. I eat gout for breakfast.
I remember watching a show. Do you remember? Were you at Sherlock's that night? I was
just about to ask you. You might be going to the same direction.
I have DVD somewhere of the show. It was Sean at Sherlock's. And I don't know where he decided this was no longer a show.
Oh, I know this.
But there was a point, Billy, and at 15 minutes in, it's that awkward, nobody, like weird. You hear a waitress in the back go, "What's happening?" Like that kind of thing. And his entire show has devolved to he's on a bar stool, going, "Whore,
Yeah.
fucking whore." He's just groaning. And then he'd take a sip of a drink, and he's doing it all with a smile on his face.
Here's the funny thing about that night. So that was Sherlock's. I was booking a gig at 2-a-days in Pearland. He was in town. I had him booked the next night.
Yep.
And I'm watching him, and I'm just like, I can't.
You understand, right, Sean?
To this fucking gig. And he ended up crashing at Thalberg's that night. And I wanted to tell he was in a bad place. He was just pissed off at everything. And I wanted to tell him that he was canceled that night, but I was like, he gonna get mad. I'm gonna have to fight him. What? So I was like, I'll just call him tomorrow. I was at noon the next day. I get a call from Sean going, "So you were there for that last night?" And
I do remember
I go,
this.
"Yeah, man, I was there." He goes, "So I'm thinking tonight might not be a good idea." And I was like, "Thanks, buddy. Thanks.
That's great,
Thanks for
man.
doing it for me."
Yeah.
I
That-
thought
that
you were
would
going to
just-
say, do you guys remember Senior Bob and Mr. Smarty Pants?
Yeah, sure.
God.
The most amazing thing.
For those who don't know, Bob
It's-
Biggerstaff was portraying a ventriloquist.
We were going to try
Yes.
and get him, and he's done
Well,
this with
that's-
Junior Stopka too.
yeah, yeah, and
But Sean
was the
couldn't
puppet.
move.
Yeah, Sean was the puppet.
Sean, but it was first done out of necessity. Sean's rheumatoid was fucking with him so bad he couldn't move, and they came up with this idea together. He just took a Sharpie, drew 2 lines on his face, and Bob carried him the fuck on the stage, sat down, and put him on his knee. And they said the first time he did it, like Bob was asking him questions that like led into his act or whatever. So Sean's kind of doing his shit, whatever. And then they said, like, halfway through the show, Sean just turns and looks at him and just attacks him. Just attacks Bob. And the whole show just dives into Bob asking questions and Sean just ripping him a new asshole.
Hey,
they-
fat ass.
Yeah.
How are you, fat ass?
That was my favorite. I really do. Like, I remember when you talk about the formative laugh stop days, like
Right.
when that 99 into 2000, that first couple of years of the decade when the back room was jumping and the open mic was murderous from 7 to 2 a.m. and
It was so smoky in there, you had to go outside
Yeah,
to
man.
smoke.
Oh, yeah, it looked like James Cameron was filming The Abyss too. Like it was just, it was
At any point, Brian Hersey could come out in a dress as Granny Sogapples and heckle you. Because they did that Bosco show.
Right.
So all the costumes are always behind the stage in front. And if Hersey got drunk, he would put on that dress and the grandma wig and he would just come out, "You shouldn't be saying those things." And
But Sean
it was
was
never planned. It just fucking happened.
Sean was the guy that I think more than anyone else in that room, when he went up, there was not a person in the back room, not a
Oh, yeah.
single pro.
Everyone's
Oh,
what's
they
gonna happen.
flew into
Yeah.
that
Because
main
you
room.
didn't know.
You never know.
You did not know. It was going to either be something that he was only going to do on Monday night and you'd never see again,
Right.
or it was going to be some weird sketchy thing, or it was going to, his mind went place. And that was probably my favorite part about it. For all the
Dude.
fights, they were worth it.
I would walk in late, and especially when I was first starting out. Mungo, you were one of those guys too. But I would walk in late, and I would immediately run to the list, and I would look for, okay, where am I going to be? All right, when is Mungo going up? When is Bill Miller going up? When is Sean going up? When is Ralphie going up? Okay, cool. I got time to run the Sherlock's for 75 cents. You call it. Because Jody was behind the bar.
Yeah, yeah.
It was 75 cents to fucking drink. I was like, I got time to run over there, get something to drink. I would walk to that Kroger cross, and I would just get a sandwich, buy a sandwich, go get drunk,
Make sure
come
you're back.
make sure I caught my
Yeah.
guys and got my set.
Right.
I want to play this right now. We have, and this is cool. This is probably his first time on the podcast officially, I think. The Whiskey Brothers originally founded in 1998 by Rob Mungo and Bill Miller,
Yeah.
Oh, he called the Custis that once before.
who is, okay, he might have. I drink a lot too. This, though, I think Bill's got a Sean story. I haven't even heard this yet, so we're just going to go live. Let's see.
Hey guys, I'll try to keep this short. When I returned to Houston in 2001, having dive bombed my career in 1999. I'm not sure what happened. I think it's possible I was a resentful, prideful drunk. Anyway, I returned in 2001. I got a job down there. And on Monday, I didn't go to work for a couple of days. On Monday, about noonish or 1 o'clock, I stopped by the last stop just to see who was hanging out. Can't remember who was working. I just said, hey, I'm going to be around tonight, and I'm going to go up here and watch traffic, I think. And school time, so I knew there'd be nobody there. Sure enough, there's like 8 people in the audience in the theater. Scattered, there's nobody within 25 feet of me, right? So I'm just sitting there, we're all isolated. Comes to a scene, rather ugly scene toward the end of the movie, seedy, ugly hotel room. Eric Christensen just fucked up to the gills, barely conscious.
God, I haven't seen Traffic.
If I remember correctly. And she's getting banged by this big, sweaty African-American dude. I mean, she was sweaty.
Hey, that was me.
Ugly scene. The sweat is what really sticks in my mind. It was like it's Cool Hand Luke had women and black men in it. But anyway, during that scene, he's on top of her, humping her. She's barely conscious. And all of a sudden, right in my ear, I hear this gravelly, curvy voice say, she likes that black cock. And we're bolting. So that was alone. And, of course, I turn around, and there's that little pale son of a bitch just grinning. Just that grin that he had, that devilish little grin. And I didn't know what to say. I'm just looking at him. He looks at me and pats me on the shoulder and says, I'll see you tonight, man. Glad you're back. And let me finish watching the movie. I love that kid. He did that to, of course, fuck with me and to welcome me back. He was the best. I was impressed with him from the start before he ever got a fucking laugh, I think. He had balls none of us ever had. Fellas, keep up the good work, please. I'm proud of you. Bye-bye.
Good on you, Bill Miller.
Wow,
Good.
that was good, right?
Yes. Man still knows how to tell a goddamn good story.
Yeah, but it had a little sling blade kind of.
It always did, Billy. It always
Yeah,
did.
it wasn't that gravelly before though. There's like a little sling blade there.
Yeah, Billy Bob never had the decency to cut down a fucking check, bro.
Tell you what, she likes that big black cock.
There's that pale, skinny son of a bitch.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, that's accurate.
That's pretty accurate.
Rode in like death.
Sean was so interesting in that you could, in my opinion, he really liked people and he really liked his friends, but he didn't like life, and it was that's kind of an odd.
That's the truest statement.
Yeah, that's the oddest place to be in because usually you're all in one way or another.
Yeah.
But I think he really enjoyed people. He loved comics, and fucking with Bill was probably brought him a great deal of joy. But I don't think he liked life, and
That's a fair statement.
yeah,
And I don't think anybody.
When you were told you're gonna die,
yeah.
as long as he was like when people like after he died, some people were upset that a lot of people were posting a lot of Sean's fucked up stories. You know what I mean? And
He's got a lot of I peed here stories.
Yes, he does. He does. But the thing is, when people are like, yeah, he just used to get so fucked up. Well, I'm like, hey, man, if someone tells you you're on borrowed time, what are you going to do? Sit around and be miserable?
Yeah.
Or you going to go out and get fucked up?
Yeah.
I know what I do.
Yeah. He embraced it, man. What was the line? I'm not dying from the disease.
They said
I'm living with it until it kills you.
Yeah,
They said you're not dying from the disease. You're living with the disease until it kills you. Yeah.
And then you're dead from the disease. Yeah, man. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, those. I want to play. I want
I
to play.
still have. We never did it, but we had a back with the Laugh Stop days. I had a big gout. My toe was on fire, and he was going, Mungle, $10, I could take you in a foot race right now. Let's sell tickets. Mungle v. Rouse, 100-yard dash, 6.5 hours.
And he had that playful, impish grin the whole time.
He was able to make light of his condition so well. He did this. It was after Mike at the stop. He did this thing about it. He was like, "Yeah, I got a little bit of room chart. You can see it. and the hand's there. He goes, and then you can see it on the elbow. And this girl in the front goes, oh, and he goes, oh, no, honey, don't. You should see what this thing does to a clit.
I was watching today because we were talking about how remarkably hard it is to find recorded Sean Rouse. There's an album out there, and I don't have it.
I was there. He did it at the Secret Group. Rob,
So-
you were there too, right?
Yeah, I was.
So
I
he
opened for him.
recorded a show at the Secret
At
Group.
Secret Group, yeah.
And so
And
none
the
of
bastard
this.
still owes me he taped my set, and I never got my copy of my set. So that fucker took it to the grave.
Within the last
cocksucker.
year?
Yeah, within the last year.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it should be
Yeah, I
there
remember
should be a
that.
full set of his from the last. I
And I
don't.
also have that link. I don't know if you want to put it up. Maybe I'll edit it down to Sean's stuff because it's kind of long. But I have a link of Sean back in 2001. It was him. It's
You guys did a documentary
a
that
documentary.
he was
Check this out.
in. The Circuit.
The Circuit. It was Sean. It was Jim Patterson.
Patterman, another
It
one.
was Hypno Bro.
Oh
It
wow!
was
Good Lord.
It was Dory.
She's still. Oh, but-
No,
She's alive.
no,
yeah, Dory's
no,
in Germany.
No, not
Yeah.
Dory. Not Dory. The other one. Do you remember the short, kind of fat lady with the big glasses? The
Jeannie
old-
Terhune.
I don't know, but I know she's I know
Old,
she's
old.
gone. Yeah, old.
Jeannie Terhune.
Is that who it was?
She was like super nice. She was really rich, and she did comedy for no money.
Big glasses.
She
big-
died.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, I thought she
know she
died.
did.
Maybe she didn't die.
Maybe she just quit.
I was gonna say, what kind of documentary did you do?
But the thing is, but it was
Future snuff. It's a subgenre.
But literally, there are
It's The
more.
Ring
there
in reverse.
There are more. There are more. Passed away people
oh my God.
on the circuit than there are alive.
You know
Jeez.
the Willowbrook had a light in the green room that they would turn on when
Yeah.
Lorna used to turn the light on when Terhune was headed toward the green room, so I get the fuck out of there.
I would.
Getting Terhune work.
I've been going through because there's such a absence of recorded Sean, so I've been trying to find a couple of clips and things. Some of the audio is so bad, but there's a clip of him doing this festival in Austin. And Willie Nelson, Willie is in the very beginning of the clip. Sean walks past him, and Willie had just played, and it's a huge pro-pot Austin rally. You picture any of us on our best day doing an outdoor rally. You know what?
God.
Like, that is the most uncomfortable
Yeah.
setting. Daytime on an outdoor stage.
Following Willie Nelson.
Following Willie Nelson on a sparsely populated. I don't know.
Right.
Maybe Willie had not gone. I don't know where they were in the lineup. But Willie
He
was in the
still
clip.
walked on stage right after Willie fucking Nelson.
And Sean goes up and he's being Sean. So he doesn't have the ability to do the he has it. He's not using it to fast play these people. And it takes a minute and someone yells at him and what? His eyes light up for the first time in the whole set.
Yeah.
He's excited. Something. What'd you say? And he gets into it with this guy, and the guy screams, "You suck!" And Sean plays it. He drags this out for forever, and he's like, just a peace offering. What are you drinking, sir? And the guy goes, Bud Light. He goes, boo! Boo! You suck, sir! It was so fucking beautiful.
One of my favorite stories was when he was on Men in Black 2.
This is great.
And
Did you know this? Do you know he's in
I
the
didn't know-
movie?
no, I didn't know
that. He's in the
It
movie.
happens so
Welcome
fast.
back, Agent
Yeah.
K.
Well,
That's
yeah,
it.
that's
Yeah.
He had 12 lines. Oh, yeah.
His agent got him the gig when he was out in L.A. And the gig was, if you see the scene, it's Tommy Lee Jones walking back. He's returned as Agent K, and there's another little agent floating around him like a little
I think yeah.
a little mosquito. Hey, let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. That was originally going to be Sean's part.
Right.
But it quickly became realized by the director and the actors that Sean can't walk, not nearly as fast as Tommy Lee Jones, and this guy's supposed to be buzzing around him, and he couldn't do it. And apparently he's just trying to stumble around the guy, Tommy Lee Jones.
No.
And then Tommy Lee Jones goes, "Can somebody get this little fucking asshole out of here? Give me somebody who can walk. Give me somebody who can walk." And they said, "Okay, Sean, you don't get to be that part." So they stuck him
coming down an elevator.
Yeah, coming down an elevator, and he's 100 yards away from Tommy Lee Jones, but he just turns and says, "Welcome back,
back,
AGK." He's like, "No." Yeah. said, okay, here's what you get. And he said, and he told me, yeah, they didn't want to fire me and give like some kind of like cripple lawsuit. And I didn't even think about that. I was like, yeah, fire me. I can't. Oh, what are you doing? Look at me. I'm oppressed. You won't let an actor act. So they gave me that line.
I did stumble on this. This is Sean on the Bob Rivers show. And it's well, it gets weird at first, and then this is my favorite part, Sean.
So you're now right now you're working on a reality show, is that right?
Yeah, I'm trying to get it going. It's not so much for me as for it's for this country. It's just an attempt to solve racism, and wow. I know you think a reality show. I think you can do it.
What's the show called?
Well, that's the punchline. It's myself in a house alone with one woman from each race, the finest stock of every race, alone in a house.
Sure, no, I'm following you.
On the season debut, I impregnate all of them in a huge Fox fantasy festive. Mm-hmm. For 9 months, I hang out, cooking breakfast, nourishing the wombs, trying to convince each one of them that I love them the most. As soon as the first contraction starts, we induce everyone's labor. I deliver all of the children. Mm-hmm. As soon as the last baby hits the delivery room floor, I take off on a cocaine whiskey binge. The first mother-child combo to find me wins free college tuition and bragging rights for their race. Yeah.
And the name of the show?
The Amazing Races. So
That's so good.
Oh,
The
God,
Amazing
that's funny.
Racist. Way before Ari.
Yeah. Oh God, that's fucking funny.
So that is our
That's
friend
what I
Sean.
loved about the soft-spoken Sean was the best. That's what he was. Like I say, he was not afraid of silence. He could do that. So yeah, it's not for me. No, it's for America.
And you knew you knew you were walking down a booby-trapped path the whole time.
Yeah.
Where is it?
Never, ever did you think for half a second it was going to go anywhere good. You just knew. But the art was in the reveal.
But and also when you watched his patience on stage, it taught you patience.
Yeah.
You go, if
Not
they,
me.
if-
I
if they
could.
could-
It would drive me nuts. I'm like, I can't do that. I can't. Yeah, that's a muscle that he had that maybe in spite of his body.
No, but I'm serious. Like
Yeah.
after I watched him, I mean, there are a couple of other people that I work with the same influence. But after I watched him, I was like, you know what? I don't have to be on top of these people for my entire set. You know, I can let the joke rest for a minute in the middle, or
Let some slack in the line,
or some space between the punchline, and just to see what happens.
I am the worst offender of that. I fast talk. I do not breathe.
I'm the same way. I'm on top of them and I'm punching.
Yeah, buddy.
Punching.
But I do see what you're saying, and he's probably the biggest influence in that arena of just making me even. I still can't do it, or I opt not to do it. It doesn't so much fit my style, but it does make you start to want to kind of write like that a little bit, and you just go, okay, it is cool. The longer you draw it out, the bigger that hammer has to be.
Right.
And he was always so good at that.
And
I guess
also the credit that we haven't given him is that he always had the boyish charm to play against.
Oh, yeah.
it.
Always.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah.
I mean,
100%.
infectious boyish charm to play. You see him up there, and you think he's going to do one thing.
And that's what was
He
so
looked like
crazy.
a sick Macaulay Culkin.
Yeah, that's what's so crazy about him was that he would say the most vile thing, and even to people, strangers in bars. You know, he would be.
Well, he would lick them also.
Yeah, well, but it was that he had that look and that frailty that it was like a weapon. He used it like, you can't punch me. Look how beat up I am.
Right.
I'm going to tell you to go fuck yourself.
But it's done with a sparkle that to this day.
Exactly.
That
It was
look.
that boyish grin. And it was the Dennis the Menace kind of little fucking thing he had.
Absolutely.
And that's, yeah.
Very in on his own con, and I loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why when the last time I saw him, dude, I could barely, because I think I saw him one night with you at what's the place on Monday nights, I think.
Rudyard's.
Yeah, so you guys were just sitting around.
Last time I saw Sean was at Rudyard's.
Yeah, man, you guys were just sitting around.
Did he go
talking.
up?
No, he couldn't get up the steps.
Yeah, man, I went and shook his hand, and it bothered me.
Yeah.
It really because
It was like grabbing a gear shift.
Yeah,
it wasn't
man.
even. There was no.
And then you knew it was something was going to happen eventually, but you didn't really accept it until when I actually saw him. It's like, man, this is real. I mean, at first it felt like, as macabre as it might sound, it felt like it was like the act, a part, because it was so much a part of it before. Then we actually saw it manifest. 10, 15 years later, you're like, man, this is real.
I'd be remiss. Our friend Jody Fertig, comic from Houston, she sent a great story. She said she had she evicted Sean Rouse 3 times because he lived with her and they had like a group house and different stuff. And she said you got to tell him the story about in L.A. when he came to move out, and she was the landlady of the apartment complex, and he moved in, and she was tasked with evicting him because he was 3 months past due on rent. And she goes, yeah, I had to go evict him, but none of his friends showed up to help, so I moved all his shit. He just sat there because he couldn't move anything, so I had to evict him and get his...
Can you imagine you're doing it wrong, Jody.
Don't mess up the china. You chipped the china, you whore.
Oh no, that doesn't go there.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Guys, I hate that this is what brings us together. We should do this more often. We should do this more frequently.
It's a good group to have together, though.
I love this conversation. I love you guys. To Sean Rouse. Go ahead, Andy.
No, I was going to say that was quite a crew y'all had at the last stop.
It was you
days.
and you.
Yeah.
I don't want to get sidetracked, but you were. That was sort of during your absence, I guess, for a handful of years.
Yeah.
Because you came back around, and we'll end this. But was it like 2003 or 4, maybe?
Something like that. Yeah.
Because I think you came and did my room with Falkenberry.
Yeah.
Shortly after the Sean incident.
Yeah.
Or maybe before even. But that was there was a handful of years there.
That was a good group.
I was
Had
a kid.
Strong group.
I was a kid. I started out. I maybe done comedy 2, maybe 3 years, whatever. But hanging with these guys, your name always was around.
Yeah.
Always was around.
Yeah.
And one day you came back in, and I saw you. I didn't know who the fuck you were. Thought I was just somebody there to watch. And then they were like, "Hey, Huggins is going on." I was like, "Andy Huggins is here," and I was like,
The legend is bigger than the man.
I finally get to see this fucking guy. And then you walk on. I was like, I just saw that fucking. I was just talking to that dude.
Yeah. Tommy Drake was talking about putting together a roster.
Right.
That'd be
Yes.
so interesting to me to see how, because there's a period of time between the workshop and y'all that I just was wondering who were some of the prominent.
That's I hope
'Cause
Tommy
the
does that.
Yeah, the workshop era, so to speak, ended about 87, maybe 88. Y'all started
around 94.
Yeah,
Somewhere
There was
in
a
there.
period
To
of
about
time,
2004.
Who was holding? And I'm sure it was great. I just don't know who it might be.
I don't
Ben.
have.
Oh, it was McRae and Mowbray and Sean Rouse and
Post like 88.
Ben. Yeah.
Oh,
Oh
okay.
no,
Well,
no,
no,
it was
that's not
about
right.
94 to
Billy would be your historian here.
Yeah, 88 was around his
88
time.
was around my time, but I don't have anybody that, like, everybody that I started with, they don't even do it anymore.
Was it Artemis
Yeah.
Fields? Who was that? Baltimore.
Artemis
They don't
Fields
even-
forever.
Yeah, they don't even do it anymore.
He won the contest
That's right.
1 year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he came by the last stop to get his pay because there were 2 guys waiting for him.
Yeah, to beat him up.
He
Yeah.
needed that money.
He was the first black guy to win that contest. That is the second.
No,
he was the
I'm
first.
Billy
You're
won
first.
first.
I won.
And
I
then
won. I
Baltimore.
won. I won in '91.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then Baltimore.
Right.
And then
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Andy, tell me you never won Houston's Funniest, right?
No.
Finally, someone else in the room. It's been me for forever. Guys, we raise a glass.
Never
Yeah.
entered.
All right, fuck
Yeah.
it.
smart man. Smart man.
And next
I
time,
can edit that out. That's
and next time, remind me to tell my story about winning that, because it was. You talk about racist. We'll talk about it next time.
Oh, I know that story.
You talk about it
yeah.
next time.
Oh,
yeah.
the ultimate teaser. This is, Billy, you got to come back. You know you have
I'd
a
love
seat on
to.
the
I'd love
podcast.
to. I'd love to.
Andy, you're always welcome.
Thank you, sir.
You know that as well. Congratulations as you proceed with America's Got Talent and other endeavors. You can find all of us at Praise Whiskey. You can be part of our Patreon. Very simple to do. That'll get you behind-the-scenes stuff as well as a look at our video when we broadcast the first episode of the week. At Praise Whiskey on everything else. You can find everyone under their names
Go
on
leave comments on Amazon Prime about
Twitter.
how sexy I am.
and do that for
In
Sam.
honor of Shani. I'm a goosh.
We'll see you guys soon.
They don't want no problems. Nah.
Music provided by Scarface. Thank you for listening to yet another excellent episode of the Whiskey Brothers Podcast, the world's funniest podcast ever. The Whiskey Brothers Podcast was made in America by Americans, mostly in and around the Houston area. All content copyright the Whiskey Brothers. This concludes our broadcast day. Goodbye.